So why did I choose the Air Force? All right. So I think the funny story about choosing a military branch in general is I didn't know I was going to join the National Guard. My brother-in-law took me to a recruiter. We didn't know it was an Air Force National Guard recruiter. We thought it was an active duty recruiter. It was kind of by accident that I joined the Air Force and National Guard in general. So everything happens for a reason. So I think that was kind of an awesome mistake that happened.
Spread your legs. Spread them!
I think work ethic to me means, putting that extra time into chair flying, getting into the regulations, knowing the regulations. And I think a lot of that stems from my enlisted career. A lot of my mentors and senior leadership saw the hard work I'd put in, and you're recognized for it. So I think that just drives you and motivates you. Not only for me personally, for my work ethic as far as an enlisted, I want that to transfer into my work ethic as an officer and as an aviator in the 108th. Reason I wanted to be a pilot, my father's a pilot, so he grew up in Guatemala, and he was a young aviator, and then he came over to the States, and he always had the dream and aspiration to be a pilot in the United States. Unfortunately, it never ended up happening for him. So just growing up hearing his stories as a young aviator over there, and then also just growing up in Browns Mills outside the gates of Fort Dix, just hearing the jets, do their transition work, touch and goes, the ranges. I always knew I wanted to be a pilot and in the military, so it was just a matter of time and figuring out how I was going to obtain that goal, and it ended up all working out. It was awesome. Yeah, the transition of becoming a pilot and a dad at the same time was probably the hardest and best thing that ever happened to me. A lot of the other instructors there were asking me exactly, what was the thought process behind that, but I always promised my wife that once I got into pilot training, we were going to start our family, and I just wanted to be true to what I promised her, and it actually worked out for the best. We had our son Dylan a week before my final check ride at UPT. I think that was definitely fuel and motivation for me too, because not only am I trying to, be the best pilot I could be, I was also trying to be the best husband I could be, and also potentially be the best father that I could be. So getting in the jet every day, thinking about my wife and soon-to-be son, that was the drive and motivation that helped me get through training, I think. So my first flight back here at the 108th was, it was really humbling experience. 3 years plus in the making as far as going to AMS, getting my private pilot's license, bachelor's degree, going through UPT, SEER, Altus. So all that training embodied in one flight as far as flying back at home with the, the Tiger Tails. And as far as, all the training that led up to it, we did the same thing that we learned at Altus, at UPT. Those same fundamentals applied here. The thing about it, though, is flying with other people that I worked with at the CRG, and then now being in the right seat while they're in the left seat, it was awesome. It was a humbling experience. One of the things to take away from the transition from enlisted to officer, for me, just being humble. Just because, you're an officer now doesn't mean, you're better than anyone else. It's one team, one fight, and as an officer, you need to take pride and listen to your enlisted, utilize your NCOs, your senior NCOs, and there's a lot to learn from, especially being in the Guard. We have people who are 30 plus years. There's a lot to learn.